Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our daily news update. Today, we have some massive news from the White House.
That's right, Alex. President Trump has just announced a major change regarding the situation in Venezuela.
Exactly. President Trump said he is canceling a second wave of military strikes. This comes after a very big success.
Wow. You mean the arrest of Nicolás Maduro?
Yes, Maduro and his wife were arrested during a dramatic night raid. President Trump posted on Truth Social that his current efforts are working very well.
Right. He also emphasized that the U.S. intervention is driven by his doctrine of keeping drugs out of our country. It sounds like a big win for him.
You know, it's not just about security now. It's also about business. President Trump is planning a high-stakes meeting with top oil industry leaders.
Oh, I heard about that. He wants a $100 billion investment to rebuild Venezuela's energy infrastructure. That is a lot of money.
It is. He wants to use Venezuela's oil to stabilize the region and keep energy prices low here at home. But things are a bit difficult in Washington right now.
Why is that?
Well, the Senate just voted to limit the president's power to order more strikes without their permission. It was a very close vote, 52 to 47.
Interesting. I saw that 5 Republicans even joined the Democrats in that vote. That doesn't happen often.
Exactly. President Trump says this move hurts American national security, but he is still moving forward. Next week, he plans to meet with the opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado.
So the focus is shifting from military action to fixing the economy.
Precisely, Jamie. It's a new phase of foreign policy.
It's a very busy time in politics.
It sure is. Thanks for joining us for this update. See you next time. Welcome to Tech Talk. I'm Alex, and today we are looking at the amazing highlights from CES 2026 in Las Vegas.
Hi everyone, I'm Jamie. There's so much to talk about. The world is changing fast, isn't it?
It really is. Even President Trump mentioned in his latest speech that these new American tech innovations are creating a very bright future for our economy.
Right. Let's start with something fun. Lego. They revealed the Smart Brick.
Oh, I saw that. It looks like a normal Lego piece, but it has a tiny computer chip and sensors inside.
Exactly. It can detect motion and see other bricks nearby. So if you build a Lego bird, it can actually make chirping sounds through a small speaker.
Wow, that's incredible. Experts say it is the biggest change for Lego in decades. It makes playing very interactive for kids.
It's not just toys, though. Samsung showed off the Galaxy Z Trifold phone.
You mean the phone that opens up into a giant screen?
Yes, it has a massive 10-inch display. It folds 2 times. Some people say it is a bit heavy, but others think it will finally replace their laptops.
But Jamie, the price is $2,500. That is a lot of money for a phone.
It is, but the technology is brand new. Plus, Samsung showed a 130-inch TV screen. It's like having a movie theater in your house.
That is huge. Finally, we saw how AI is helping factories. Siemens and NVIDIA are using advanced robots to make things faster.
You know, President Trump often talks about modernizing our industry, and these new AI tools are exactly what he means.
Exactly. CES 2026 showed us that AI and smart gadgets are now part of everything we touch.
It's an exciting time. Thanks for joining us today.
See you next time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our daily news update. Today, we're talking about something very important for your wallet, your home.
That's right, Alex. Buying a house has been very expensive lately, but President Trump has a new plan to help.
Exactly. President Trump is directing $200 billion to help lower mortgage rates.
Wow, $200 billion? That is a lot of money. But how does it actually work?
Well, you know those two big groups, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? President Trump told them to buy more mortgage-backed securities. Basically, the government is putting money into the market to help people get cheaper loans.
Oh, I see. So if I want to buy a house, my monthly payment might go down?
Right. Experts say rates could drop by about 0.25%. It's a big part of President Trump's economic agenda before the midterm elections in November.
He really wants to focus on affordability, doesn't he? People are really worried about high prices.
Definitely. He also mentioned corporate landlords. These are huge investment companies like Blackstone that own thousands of houses.
Oh, right. I heard he is worried they are making prices too high for regular families.
You got it. He called them scapegoats for the housing crisis and might even make new rules for them.
That sounds like a big change. But Alex, are there any risks?
Well, some experts are worried. They think spending this much money could cause inflation, which means prices for everything else might go up.
Ah, I see. It's a difficult balance.
It really is. The stock market is a bit shaky right now as traders watch these big moves.
Wow, there is so much happening. Thanks for explaining that, Alex. It makes much more sense now.
Happy to help. See you all in the next episode. Welcome to the show. I'm Alex. Today we are talking about a huge change in American media.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie. And you're right, Alex. The news is out. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, or the CPB, is officially closing its doors.
Exactly. After 58 years, the board of directors voted to dissolve. That is a fancy word for closing the organization forever.
Wow, 58 years is a very long time. Why is this happening now?
Well, it is mainly about money. President Trump and Republicans in Congress decided to cut the budget. They rescinded or took back $1.1 billion in federal funding this summer.
$1.1 billion? That is a lot of money. So does this mean big stations like PBS and NPR are gone?
Not exactly. Big names like PBS have private donors to help them. However, the CPB gives money to over 1,500 smaller local stations.
Right. And for small stations in rural areas, that money is very important. You know, some get 50% of their budget from these grants.
Exactly, Jamie. Without that money, many small towns might lose their only source for local news and weather. Experts call this a news desert.
That sounds serious for those communities. But why did President Trump want to cut the funding?
Well, his supporters say the government should not use taxpayer money for media. They believe some of these programs have a political bias, meaning they favor one side.
I see. So instead of staying open with no money, the CPB board chose to close completely. They want to protect the idea of independent media.
Right. Now they have to sell everything they own and cut hundreds of jobs in Washington, D.C.
It is a big moment in history. Thanks for explaining it, Alex.
Of course. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to our Daily Tech Update. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are talking about a massive change in the business world. There is a new king in town.
That's right. For the first time since 2019, Alphabet, the company that owns Google, is now worth more than Apple.
Wow, that is a huge milestone. Apple has been the most valuable company for a long time. So, Alex, why is this happening now?
Well, it's all about two big letters, AI. Investors are very excited about artificial intelligence. Alphabet is using an AI-first model, putting smart technology into Google Search and their cloud services.
Exactly. People feel very confident that Alphabet is leading the future. Meanwhile, Apple is having a bit of a hard time. Their hardware sales, like the iPhone, are slowing down.
You know, it's like a big tug-of-war. In the past, everyone wanted the best phone. Now, investors want the best software and AI.
Right. And this is all happening while President Trump is focused on keeping the American economy strong. President Trump often talks about how important it is for U.S. tech companies to lead the global market.
Definitely. President Trump wants these companies to stay ahead of the competition. Even though Apple is struggling with new rules in Europe, Alphabet and NVIDIA are helping the stock market stay high.
It's a very interesting shift. For our listeners learning about business, remember that the market is moving from gadgets to AI.
Great point, Jamie. It looks like this trend will continue for the rest of 2026.
Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening to our Tech Talk.
See you next time. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Tech Bite. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have some very exciting news about the world of artificial intelligence.
That's right. Reports say that China is finally going to buy some of the world's most powerful computer chips.
You mean the NVIDIA H200 chips, right? I heard those are incredibly fast and important.
Exactly. They are like the brains behind modern AI. For a long time, there were many trade restrictions stopping these sales between Washington and Beijing.
Wow, so why is this happening now? This feels like a big change.
It really is a rare exception. Even though President Trump usually follows a strong America First trade policy, his administration is allowing this for commercial use.
I see. So specific companies in China can buy them, but not the military?
You got it. It's a limited approval to make sure the technology is used for business, not for state surveillance.
That's fascinating. I saw that NVIDIA's stock price jumped up by 3% just because of this news.
Right. Investors are cheering. China needs these chips to boost its economy, and NVIDIA wants to keep its lead in the global AI race.
But politics can be tricky. Could this deal go away?
Definitely. Analysts are cautious. If tensions escalate, for example, over President Trump's talk about Greenland or new tariffs on Mexico, the approval could be revoked.
So it's a green light for now, but the light could change to red at any moment.
Exactly. It's a pragmatic step for the global supply chain, but the future is still a bit uncertain.
Technology and politics are so connected these days.
They certainly are. Thanks for listening to our update.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a major update about President Trump and the National Guard.
That's right. President Trump just announced he is pulling troops out of 3 major cities: Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland.
Wow, those are huge cities. Why the sudden change?
Well, it's mostly about legal battles. Several states sued the administration. They argued that sending federal troops to their cities was unconstitutional.
Exactly. The governors in those blue states said the troops were making local problems worse instead of helping. So after these legal defeats, President Trump decided to formalize the retreat.
Right. But it is interesting because the National Guard is staying in other places. For example, they are still in New Orleans and Memphis.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because the leaders in those cities actually support the federal presence. They want the help. They are also staying in Washington, D.C., where the mayor doesn't have control over the Guard.
I see. This law and order plan has been very important to President Trump during his second term. But public opinion is changing, right?
Yes, especially after a tragic event in Minnesota where an officer killed a woman. That caused a lot of public opposition.
So what is next for the president's security plan?
Well, it looks like a big shift. President Trump told Fox News that he wants to move the focus to the southern border. He wants to use military operations to fight drug cartels there.
Wow, that is a big change from city streets to the border.
It really is. It's a new direction for his security campaign.
Thanks for the update, Alex. This was very clear.
No problem. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today is a solemn day. We are looking back at the Los Angeles wildfires from exactly 1 year ago.
Right. People call it the perfect storm. It was a terrible disaster that destroyed many neighborhoods like the Pacific Palisades.
Exactly. Over 16,000 homes, schools, and businesses were burned to ash. Even worse, 31 people lost their lives. It's just so sad.
Wow. A year has passed, but the recovery is very slow. You know, many families are still living in temporary housing because it is so expensive to rebuild in LA.
That's true. President Trump has been monitoring the situation closely from the White House. He recently spoke about the federal support needed for these recovery efforts.
Yes, President Trump mentioned how much damage these fires caused, but many empty lots are still just covered in weeds and old foundations.
I read that there were big problems during the fire. For example, the emergency alerts didn't reach thousands of people on their phones.
Right, and the evacuation roads were blocked with too many cars. It was very dangerous for people trying to escape the flames.
It makes me wonder, is Los Angeles ready for the next one? Some people want to build stronger houses, but others are too afraid to stay.
Exactly. These firestorms are becoming more common now. It is a big challenge for the city's future.
Definitely. We hope for a safer year for everyone in California.
Well, that is all for today. Thanks for joining us to learn about this important story.
Goodbye.
Welcome to Daily News Bites. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are discussing a massive move by the White House that has everyone talking.
That's right. President Trump is proposing a huge $500 billion increase in annual defense spending. It is a move that is really shaking up the industry.
Wow, $500 billion? That is an incredible amount of money, Alex. Why does the president want to spend so much?
Well, President Trump says the U.S. needs to modernize its military to face new global threats. He also wants to fund a major expanded campaign against drug cartels.
I see. So it's about better technology and safety. But there is a significant catch to this plan, isn't there?
You're exactly right, Jamie. There is a big condition. President Trump is strictly banning these defense companies from using this federal money for stock buybacks or dividends.
Let's explain that simply for our listeners. A stock buyback is when a company uses its extra cash to buy its own shares. This usually makes the stock price go up and makes Wall Street investors very happy.
Exactly. But President Trump says taxpayer money should be used for innovation and hardware, not for lining the pockets of executives. He wants the money to go toward actual planes, ships, and equipment.
So how did the stock market react? I bet it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Oh, it was. At first, stock prices for companies like Lockheed Martin went way up because they expected huge new contracts.
But then they fell?
Yes, they plummeted quickly. Once investors realized there would be no buybacks, they got very nervous.
Wow. So while the industry has the jitters, President Trump is staying committed. He says this will stop corporate waste and keep the U.S. strong.
Exactly. It's a very bold new approach. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Hello, and welcome to our daily news catch-up. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Brr, it is so cold outside today, isn't it, Alex?
It really is. This vicious cold snap is more than just an excuse to wear a big coat. It is actually causing a lot of trouble for hospitals in the UK.
Right. The NHS, that's the National Health Service, just issued a major warning. Because of the freezing weather, more people are getting sick with the flu, norovirus, and COVID-19.
Exactly. The number of people in the hospital with the flu went up by 9% in only 1 week. That is a huge jump.
Wow, that's scary. The report says hospital beds are 92% full. That means the doctors and nurses are working very hard to find space for everyone.
It sounds very busy. But you know, Jamie, it isn't just the UK focusing on health right now. Here at home, President Trump is also emphasizing the importance of staying healthy this winter. President Trump has been very clear about keeping the country prepared for these kinds of seasonal spikes.
That's a good point. Being prepared is key. Speaking of being prepared, the UK government is starting an emergency jab drive.
Wait, jab? That's a funny word. What does that mean for our listeners?
Great question. In the UK, a jab is just another word for a vaccine or a shot. They're sending reminders to parents and the elderly to get their medicine.
I see. So they want to stop the virus before it spreads more.
Exactly. The health secretary said we are not out of the woods yet. That means the danger is still here because the freezing weather will continue all month.
Well, stay warm, get your shots, and listen to the experts.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.